What is going on, readers? My name is Wes with Supreme Book Dealer, and it is the start of a new month, and you know what that means. We are going to be discussing all the books I read for the month of September. Now, before we jump into the books that I actually read, let's talk about where we are on our goal. In the beginning of the year, we set out a goal to read 50 books for 2024. As of last month, we are at the number 28. So we read 28 books for the year, a little more than halfway there, but we still have a lot of work to do because there's not that many more months in the year. So let's see where we are for the month of September, and then let's see how much to go to hit our goal. So the first book I read for the month of September was The Weston Game. The Weston Game is written by Ellen Raskin. Now, this is your standard whodunit. Somebody is killed, we have suspects, we have to figure out who the killer is. So in this book, Mr. Weston is killed, and all of the tenants of the Sunset Towers apartments are suspects in this murder, and we have to join them on this journey, figure out who the killer is and why they killed Mr. Weston. Good book, nothing out of the ordinary. Did really enjoy reading this. This book gets a 7 out of 10. The next book that we've read is Ghost by Jason Reynolds. Now, if you've been watching me and you know me, you know that I am a huge fan of Jason Reynolds. He is one of my favorite authors. So every time I see him, I'm picking that book up and I'm gonna give it a read. The good thing about this book is it is about a young boy named Castle who is on the run from his past, his living situation, his abusive father, and he finds passion and solace in running. And we get to join him on that journey, and we see who he becomes because of his influences of his coach, of his mom, of his friends, and it's such a joy to read this book. I gave this a 7 out of 10. The next two books I'm gonna do together, it is a series of unfortunate events, The Miserable Mill, and a series of unfortunate events, The Austere Academy, both written by Lemony Snicket. Now, a series of unfortunate events is my favorite series. I've loved it ever since I was a kid, and going back and rereading these books has brought me so much joy and so much nostalgia. Now, with that being said, at the end of this, when I'm done reading all of the books in this series, I'm going to do a ranking series. I'm going to rank every single book in a series of unfortunate events. With that being said, The Miserable Mill is probably going to rank at the bottom. If not the bottom, very close to it. It's not my favorite book in the series. With that being said, the orphans, they get sent to a mill, Lucky Smells lumber mill, and Count Olaf is out to get them. This doesn't really, nothing much really happened in this book that I find interesting. It's just like a run-of-the-mill, no pun intended, book. It's okay. I'd give this a 6 out of 10. Now, I really love The Austere Academy because in addition to Count Olaf, we meet this guy who's Vice Principal Nero. He is also an asshole, and he makes you not like him just as much as you do not like Count Olaf because he is a horrible vice principal. But I also love the fact that we are introduced to the Quagmire triplets, who, similar to the Baudelaire orphans, has had a troubled past. So we get to meet new characters. We get another villain who is really, really an asshole, and I really enjoy this book. I would give this a 8 out of 10. The next book on our list is Bud Not Buddy. Got a chance to reread this with my 6th grade ELA class, and it really is such a fun book to read. This book follows Bud, not Buddy, on his journey to finding his dad. See, Bud lives in an orphanage, and he gets sent to live with a family called the Amoses. It does not work out, so after it doesn't work out, he says he's gonna go find out who his dad is. Unfortunately, his mom passed away before the story starts, so we get hit with a lot of nostalgic memories of his mom, and it's really a sad story. When he does find out who his dad is, he figures out that it's not his dad, but actually his grandfather, so it's his mother's dad, and it really is a very sad, very heartwarming story. It takes place during the Great Depression. Yeah, really love this book. I'm gonna give this 7 out of 10. All right, so one of my favorite books that I read this month is Nobody Knows My Name by James Baldwin. I absolutely love this book. I'm also biased because James Baldwin is my favorite author ever. Ever since I read The Fire Next Time, I've loved reading anything from James Baldwin. My favorite thing he's ever written is actually a short story called Sonny's Blues. If you ever have a chance to read it, please read it. With that being said, Nobody Knows My Name is a collection of essays where Baldwin does a lot of things. He does criticisms, he talks about his life in New York City, he talks about his life in Paris, he talks about relationships with other writers, specifically Richard Wright, whom they were friends, and then they had pretty much a rocky relationship towards the end. I love this book. I mean, James Baldwin writes in such a concise and such a beautiful but yet simplistic way. He makes even complex ideas seem simple and easy to grasp. Love reading anything from James Baldwin. This easily gets an 8 out of 10. Loved reading it. The Mystery Writer by Solari Gentile is the last book that I read this month, and this book blew me away. I could not put this book down, and the more I read, the more I went down this rabbit hole. So we follow the main character. Her name is Theo Benton, and Theo leaves school to go live with her brother Gus. Now, while living with Gus, she falls in love with a writer. And when she goes to visit that writer, finds out that he dies. So now she is the first suspect of his murder. And then other people died, and she is an even bigger suspect. And then she gets her book published, and then she goes into hiding. This book has so many twists and turns. I can't even tell you how this book is amazing. I absolutely loved reading this book. I would read it again. I'm probably gonna read it again, but I mean, I have to read more from Solari because this is the first book I've read, and I think this is almost a master. This is very, very close. I would give this book a 9 out of 10. This is probably the highest book that I've ranked so far, and it absolutely deserves every bit of praise that I'm giving it. If you see this in your bookstore, if you see this online, please read this book. It is adult fiction. It is a mystery. You will not regret reading. And that is all the books I've read during the month of September. We have 1, 2, 3, 5. We have 7 books, which brings us to a total of 35 books for the year. So we have 3 months left, and we have 15 more books that we have to get to reach our goal of 50 books this year. I'm 99% sure, nope, strike that. I'm 100% sure that we are going to reach this goal. Thank you so much for joining me on this reading journey. Thank you for watching this video. I hope that you can subscribe to the channel. I hope you can like this video, and I hope that you can put any comments in the comment section. What do you think I should read next? Always open to any type of suggestions for something to read, because as you can see, I run out of books really fast, and I'm always looking for something. So with that being said, I hope you were able to achieve your reading goals this month. Happy reading, keep reading, and as always, have a great day. Keep reading. Peace.